Hi guys, that little toy behind me, that's one of my cars called Ford Courier. This week I'm gonna strip it and wrap again. And I wanted to use an opportunity to show a couple of places on it and explain you why these are wrapped the way they are. You need to know this car is wrapped with a unique product called Fusion. That's a 60 micron polymeric film with flight technology designed specially for vehicle wrapping. If you want to know more about the product, go to arlon.com. But now please look on that recess. So that film is almost a year here, and that recess stays perfectly. Nothing pops out, even if it's a polymeric film. Each side was wrapped in one piece, and I used a 152 roll for it. Of course, as every printing, I had some edges, more or less like this, which stayed unprinted. And we had a file prepared for 140 something. So the problem is that when I placed it on the car and the bottom edge landed here, bottom edge of printed graphic of course, the top edge was somewhere here. But it's a polymeric film. So I couldn't use any stretch technique, so I used the no stretch technique, which means I installed that section first and then I came out without any stretching. That means the top edge went even lower. Edge of graphic was somewhere here, so that means I was missing like 10-12 centimeters. That means I had to stretch a lot. If you look on that leather, on that part, and you compare it to this place, you can see how much that section is stretched. Stretching such a small section like this into that means I have a lot of perpendicular tension, perpendicular to this edge, which means it will be coming back. To avoid shrinkage on that edge, I went with the vinyl a little bit shorter till here, and then I took extra piece of no stretched vinyl and put it on top of it, half on the vinyl which I had stretched and half on non-wrapped part. So the no stretched piece holds the stretched one. More, if that section is stretched so much, and it is because it went from this into that means top of the door is also having an issue with perpendicular tension. And we know perpendicular tension means shrinkage. Knowing edge will shrink back, I had to react. So what I did, I used a piece of laminate, the same one as I used for laminating the whole graphic, and I installed it from here till here, and I put half on it on that side, and a half went inside to stick to not painted section and to hold the stretched graphic. Of course, the same trick I used on that edge because it's also stretched. So I have a little bit of laminate on the stretched graphic and a little bit on the paint. Same way I fix other issue. The whole side was wrapped in one piece. That means that gap was cut like this. Of course, some people like to cut it in the middle, but I'm a fan of cutting that section between the door and the panel on the front edge if we know the car goes in this direction. So that means when I open the door, vinyl is reaching somewhere here, maybe a 1 millimeter inside. And I don't know how you open the door, but I very often grab the door also here, and with my fingers I can make that edge unsticky. So solution which I used on top actually helps that edge to stay well, even if I'm grabbing with my hand like this. So don't be afraid to use laminate for securing edges which are stretched, or securing edges which can be unsticked, unwrapped, damaged with your hands. I use laminate not only to secure that place. Look here, we all know that section is stretched so much in this direction, perpendicular to the edge. So I secure also that edge. And if we look here, that's one of the nightmares every wrapper knows. This place always comes back with the tiny wrinkles. Look, it's secured from here till here with laminate. If I wouldn't tell you, you wouldn't notice that. Of course, the roof is also wrapped with fusion, so polymeric film. And we know polymeric film can be used for stretching over convexes, but shouldn't be stretched into concaves. And we have channels here. Channels are kind of concaves. So I had to go from the middle to the sides and not stretch the film, so just fold it into recesses. But look on that section here. It's a beautiful 3D, but if you are playing smart, even with fusion, it doesn't have to be a cast film, so even with polymeric film, you can do that section perfect way that nothing shrinks back on the edge. You don't need laminate to secure it. So basically you only have to stick to one rule. Not stretched, and the edge is not stretched. Middle, you can stretch it as much as you want. And you remember that rule from techniques which we are explaining for cast and stretching. Only the hubcaps are not wrapped with fusion. I use 6100, so the cast film for it. And to be honest, the plan was to only take few pictures. So I didn't even take them off during wrapping, because I was sure it will fall off. But as you can see, it stays perfectly. There's not even a single bubble here. This episode was a little bit serious, so a fun fact for you guys. Did you notice I love SpongeBob?